How do you distinguish between the mistakes of a child who's experimenting with and still learning language and the mistakes of a child who has a language problem?
They really are qualitatively different. They look different. So for example, if we're talking about a speech problem, a child who is 4 years old will be saying wabbit instead of rabbit often, and that is typical. But if you have a child who's 3 or 4 years old and unintelligible to a familiar listener, that is not typical. And we're not talking about your parents being able to understand you, because they can. But if the people at the bus stop have no idea what you're saying, then we're talking about something atypical. And in the case of children who are learning to put words together to make meaning, we have some benchmarks that we see at that early age. If you have a 2-year-old, they should be putting 2 words together, mommy up. If they're 3 years old, 3 words, mommy up peace. And so, and on, and that works until kids are about 5 years old and they start doing things that are more complex. And then that 2 words at 2 years old, 3 words at 3 years old, 4 words at 4 years old, after a while doesn't work anymore, but it's a good benchmark for when they're very young. And so those are the kinds of things we're looking for. One of the things that we commonly see parents very concerned about is what they call stuttering, and what we know to be normal disfluency. At the time that a child is making the transition from using very simple sentences to using sentences that are more complex, we see them doing something that looks like stuttering, and it's called normal disfluency. So what your mother would say is their mouth can't keep up with their brain. And that's not a very scientific description, but it's absolutely true. And so we consider that progress. And those kids look different from children who really are going to stutter. Often with those kids, you'll see tension in their necks, you'll see behaviors like blinking, and you'll see that it's really hard for them to get the words out. In the case of the child for whom it's just normal, it's the I'm really excited, I really want to tell you something, and I'm having trouble getting it out. And we ask that adults be patient. And it's that idea that Sharon was talking about earlier, that we don't want to call negative attention to it, make the child feel like something's wrong with it, because we don't want it to develop into something that's not normal. But it is absolutely normal. So there are some real qualitative differences in the way that children who are having difficulty develop language and those who aren't. And if you're a parent who's concerned, your concern is enough, and you should bring it up with your teacher or your pediatrician or another professional.